What up? Alright, so this is going to be a video that a lot of people have been anticipating, not necessarily from me, but just in general. This is the ClearView module versus the LaForge. Now this is a LaForge V3, and this is what I've been using for the last probably year and a half. I mean, I've gone from V1, V2, V3, but I'm going to try to give you my unbiased opinions on both of them as I'm flying them. So the end goal is to record myself flying one battery in this really crappy rainy situation here, and I'm gonna stand right here with both sets of goggles on, with only omnidirectionals on the antennas. There's not gonna be a patch on one. I'm not gonna get, you know, extra range because I have a patch on one. I'm just testing receiver capability, and also if I, you know, enjoy the experience of the units. Let's go ahead and get started by, first off, I will fly what I'm used to. I'll fly the LaForge, and I will go out my ClearView setup after that. This is the little screen that's probably going to outperform both of them, to be quite honest. Oh, another thing, I came out with an earphone, and I'll talk more about this at the end of the video, and why it's different than just any earphone that you could buy and modify, because it is quite different. Okay, plugging in, first battery, LaForge V3, in the rainiest conditions known to man, recording DVR, taking off with LaForge and one omnidirectional antenna. No, you can see there's not a patch on here, okay? Just an omni. And I'm fogging up already. Let me turn the fan on, jeez. Alright. So I'm going to try to do the same line for both. What we're going to do is we're going to go out here to the street. So there's a couple vehicles between me and the quad right now. Let's turn around and make sure there's not anything behind us. So now we're getting to where there's an entire house between me and the quad. So again, I'm on the back side of this house. And the video's not bad. Like, completely flyable. So we're coming around down here. There I am for reference. So we'll go out here. Kind of check, make sure there's not a car coming. It's getting a little rainy. So, okay, so I'm gonna turn up this hill. And we're gonna go all the way up the hill, super low, until the video gets bad. Like, until where I'm uncomfortable flying it. Okay, there's an entire house in between me and the ground with one omnidirectional. I can still fly. This is perfectly adequate video. It's not the best, like I'm a little sketched out about it, like it may drop out at any point in time. This is probably, if I were flying in a sketchy location, would be the point where my heart starts racing. But I can go a little bit farther. We can go to this tree. Video is pretty bad, but still flyable. So again, there's an entire house, for reference, an entire house and ground between me and the quad. I was back here, and we were flying from this position. Alright, so that was the LaForge with an omnidirectional antenna. Nothing else, just one omni. Let's go ahead, and I'm not even going to change batteries. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe my lens off because it's raining a little bit. And then we're going to swap the goggles over so that I'm running the ClearView, which, god dang it, might not even be set up at all because I haven't even done anything with it yet. So let me make sure that's all set up. Okay. So long. Come on. Okay, live video, quick access menu, assign channel custom. Hey guys, so I'm trying to set this thing up. You'll see in the DVR here. So I don't know what's going on, but it's like moving around while I'm trying to work on it. And it's kind of annoying, but again, I'm just not used to it, so I'm not gonna hate on it, just Telling you like it is. Okay, come on. Come on. Okay, so you ready? I'm gonna stand in the exact same spot that I stood before. We're gonna take off, and again, I have two Omnis on here. We're in ClearView mode. I got audio in, and our DVR is recording. Fan is on. We're good. All right, so picking up. The audio is really quiet. I'm just gonna try to repeat what I did earlier. Coming out here to the street. Again, I got cars between me and whatnot. Just kind of scoping it out. So the video is like pretty good actually. I'm pretty impressed with the video quality so far. There's UPS. I bet his fucking van is like covered in water on the top of it. So the video quality is damn good. So again, I'm gonna pass myself. Video is perfect. Gonna go out here in the street. Gonna make sure that there's no cars coming. Gonna kind of scooch my way up here. I would say video is just as good, maybe a tad bit better, maybe 5%. There's the UPS guy. Okay, like I said, let me make sure there's no cars coming because I've never flown this module before and we're going in uncharted territory. Alright, so headed up the hill. Video is pretty bad. Like I'm still comfortable flying it. Oh god. The link is not very good. Okay, the video is not very good. It's like black and white mixed with color. There's a car freaking out. I don't know, my heart's getting a little poundy. So this is just as bad. I would say probably it's actually not as bad because it's a little more flyable for some reason. It's like breaking up but not rolling or anything. Okay, yeah, that's bad. Okay, turning around. Video is terrible. Anyways, so again, there's a house between me and the quad. But around here, video seems better. And GoPro just died. Okay, so video seems a little better close in. But nothing crazy. Now, I'll talk about this here in a second when I come back. I just want to kind of fly a little bit more before the rain gets to me. Alright, let's bring it back and talk. I remember that. There's a beeping. Can you hear it? Hey guys, so we just finished up the comparison between the LaForge module and the ClearView module. We flew around, you guys saw the DVR, you saw, maybe made some conclusions on which one you think is better than the other as far as this particular test is concerned. Now I do want to kind of tell you outright that this is not an end-all be-all test. This was a test in a low noise environment, high humidity, with omnidirectionals on both receivers, and it was essentially a penetration test to see how far we could get through an object, which to me seems to be more reasonable than flying far away in an open air environment. Penetration test is really what I use the most as far as flying behind objects. I want to know if I can go behind an object that I'm going to have the best possible video that I can, and I also want to know what kind of objects I can go behind and what the video is going to be like. Is it going to be predictable? Is it going to start rolling? Is it going to start, like fluttering or doing anything funky that's just unpredictable? That is what I'm looking for as far as this particular test is concerned. Now, I wanted to talk to you specifically about the pros and cons of each of these modules and why you might buy one versus the other. Obviously, the ClearView module is close to $300, if not more than $300, and you have the LaForge module, which is about $100, and that comes with the diversity and the regular receiver. You can buy the regular receiver without the diversity module for like $64. So it's like, why would you spend that extra money, especially when it's almost 3 times the cost? If not, yeah, it is 3 times the cost to get the ClearView module. Why would you do that? And that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. So, first of all, as far as install, you have to install both of these things into your goggles. They're both not super turnkey. If you want to install everything internally, you're going to have to take the goggles apart. It's going to be a pain in the butt. You're going to have to cut little holes in your goggles, and it's going to look clean at the end, but it's going to be a pain in the butt. With the ClearView module, you don't have to remove this factory door, so you actually don't get as many light leaks as you would with the ClearView module, or sorry, the LaForge. The LaForge module in the past has had notorious light leaks with their 3D printed doors. They've come out with these more opaque, like rubber doors that don't have as much light leak, but still there is a slight hole in the bottom here, and there is this hole right here, which I think the head tracker thing plugs into, and you are going to experience some light leak, more so than the stock door. So that to me is a downside, and I would give the ClearView the better install and also the cleaner look, because it is using a lower profile design, and it fits really, really nicely on the goggles. Doesn't look like there's like this bulgy receiver hanging out of them like it does with the LaForge. Now this is the LaForge V3, which is a lot lower profile than the LaForge V1 and V2, but again, there are pros and cons to everything. So with the bulge of the LaForge, you also get a screen on the outside, and that is one downside that I see with the ClearView, is if you want to adjust something, you have to be in the goggles. I don't always want to be in the goggles when I'm adjusting something. If I'm in a sketchy environment, if I'm on a hill, like kind of precariously perched, flying from somewhere, having to hand launch and hand catch, if the winds are high, I don't want to have the goggles on to change something, because I'm going to be thrown off balance more easily because I'm focusing on something and my body's experiencing something else. So I really like having the screen on the LaForge. It also makes things a lot easier when you're in an environment with other people and you want to know what channel they're on, or you want to scan and spectate their channel. It's really easy to figure out, oh, okay, they're on Fat Shark 3 or whatever. It's just a really nice feature, and I enjoy it a lot. There are other features with the LaForge that give it more of a selling point, like the infrared thing here where you can change the transmitter channel, that the LaForge transmitters, which I don't actually see a lot of people using. I don't know why. I don't think they're bad transmitters or anything. I just never see a lot of people using LaForge transmitters. Maybe because they're, people are using the Unify and the Tramp or whatever as far as in races are concerned. So there are more selling points with the LaForge that make it this bulky out here. You have the buttons, which make it adjustable from the external, so you can look at it here and go, boop, I can adjust this. You can also adjust via the buttons on the goggles, which is really nice. That was a feature that came out on the LaForge V3, I think. Anything above the V3, which there is a V4 out now, which I don't have. But, I was testing it against something that I've been using for a year. So obviously, if I'm biased towards something that I've been using for a year and I really like this product, and this comes in and throws a wrench in that, then that means this is a really good product. So I wanted to kind of give everything the benefit of the doubt. Now, with that being said, this is really low profile, looks really good. The fan is actually a lot quieter than the first time I got it. I got it a couple weeks ago and the fan was super loud. I sent it back and they did something, software update, to help with end of range breakup. And they also quieted the fan down somehow. And, it works great. I didn't even notice there was a fan on it. And the other thing is that I would consider a downside with this module is you can adjust anything from inside or from outside the goggles. I mean, you can, but you don't know what you're doing. You can adjust this. There's a button on here. There's a one push button that's actually connected to this SMA. Well, it's not really connected. There's a button on the back side of this module that actually pushes up against the Fat Sharks themselves on the inside, but you use this SMA connection right here to push that button. And it works through a series of long press and short presses. And you have to be in the goggle, and you have to enter a menu by long pressing. You can move around in that menu by short pressing, and then if you want to enter it again, you long press. Can you imagine typing your name one by one letter by long press, short press? It's a pain in the butt, and that's the reason why I don't love long press, short press stuff. I do think that the lower profile design is better, and for me in particular, where I'm going out somewhere and I never really change channels and I don't have to worry about anything, this may be something that I just get used to and don't really care anymore because I never have to change channels. Or I might set up all my favorites, and the initial setup would be a pain in the butt because I have to figure it out, but I might have all my favorite channels on here and I'll never have to touch anything again. And I just turn it on and it works, and the performance is really what I'm after. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this test and, you know, talk to you guys about which one works better for me versus the other one. Now, there is one downside that I think the LaForge right now has a better feature, and that is the audio. Now, this is my new my little speaker thing that I've developed with Trappy. It's taken like a year to get it perfect because we had to find all these different frequencies to reject and make sure this thing sounded perfect and didn't have too much bass and wasn't tinny and all that to get this thing to sound right for quad audio, which is the perfect sound for quad audio. Is you want to get rid of everything except prop noise. You want to hear prop noise. You don't want to hear wind. You don't want to hear static. You don't want to hear whining. You don't want to hear noise. You just want to hear prop noise. And that's very difficult to get out. So yeah, audios are very important to me. And the thing with the ClearView is it just starts up at a lower audio. So when you turn it on, the audio is really faint, and you turn it up, right? And then you're good to go. You can fly fine. As soon as you come back and land and you unplug, there's an alarm for our lower RSSI, and it deafens you, basically. That's annoying. I'm sure you can turn that alarm off, but that was annoying for me. With the LaForge, I just plug in the audio. As long as I don't have the thing plugged into my ear for the first 2 seconds of the startup of Fat Sharks, it's good, because for some reason there's an inherent problem with Fat Sharks, and when you turn them on, they're at full throttle as far as audio is concerned, and you will deafen yourself with static if you leave your earbud plugged in and turn it on. So that is one thing that the ClearView that I think can be adjusted with a quick software update, but that is one thing that I thought was annoying as far as the audio is concerned. Now, I guess the last thing to be talked about is there are a lot of different environments that these things can excel in, and there are a lot of them that will really set different modules apart. Obviously, I wasn't running the patch on my LaForge, so you know, if I wanted to go farther away, possibly the LaForge would do better because I would be able to run that patch and get a higher gain antenna pointed out there. Not saying that you can't run a high gain antenna on the ClearView, but you have to set it up in the menu to do diversity, and I haven't tested that. I just wanted to test ClearView Omni versus LaForge Omni to see what it was like in a low noise environment and penetrating through objects. And that's really where it shines for me. A receiver shines the most when it can penetrate through objects the best, and the RF comes back with very little noise, and I can go really far behind an object. So that really is a selling point for me. And as far as between these two in this environment, I would say that the ClearView is probably 5% more clear overall than the LaForge. As far as end of the range performance, I would say it's probably negligible between the two. You know, if I had to choose in this scenario, if you just put me in this scenario and said which one would you choose, and you gave me the prices of both of them, I think I would go with the LaForge just because it's a third the price. But that doesn't mean that the ClearView doesn't have features that outweigh the price. Like, why it's so much is because I think the band rejection is going to be extremely phenomenal with the ClearView. I know I've had experience with the LaForge in the past where if I'm flying with 2 or 3 more like other people and they're on channels that are semi-close to me, they'll come in to land and I'll have an issue and I'll be like, yeah, like I can't fly. You got to fly away. I can't see anything anymore. I won't be as calm as that. But I'm like, guy, like, yo, I'm trying to fly. You're coming in. Like, go far away so I can get back closer. And I've had issues with that with the LaForge. And it's not necessarily all LaForges, but some of them I have had issues with where the band rejection is not the best. And that may be because I'm running a patch and the patch is pointed at the quad or whatever that's coming into land, so there may be a downside to running that. But from my experience with what I saw today and from what other people are telling me about the ClearView, the band rejection is phenomenal. And I'll have to do another test on band rejection, but if it were me and I was going to spend the money today, I think it's inconclusive. I think they're both great modules. Personally, for the price, I think the LaForge is going to get you great performance for the price. But if you want that best of the best and you think that you're going to be doing a lot more band rejection required experiences where you're flying in a racing situation or something, I think the ClearView would suit you better. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.